Hello, hello, this is Fear Dragon. I'm here to bring you the URTL Group D game number 3 match between Dust and Quetzel. If you haven't seen game number 1 or game number 2, go ahead and check those out. But if you're still around, I'm going to assume you have, and we're going to go ahead and jump in and introduce the players. Spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner we have Entomb Valley. It is going to be the blue Protoss player representing Team Quetzel. He needs to make some kind of comeback miracle happen for Team Quetzel as they are currently down 0-2. His name is Jiraiya, clearly from Naruto, I assume. And we're going to see what he has planned as he throws down that nice little pylon. And his opponent spawning up here in the top right-hand corner of Entomb Valley as the orange Terran. Once again, it is going to be Dust Beast. And he is definitely beasting it up over here at URTL Group D Week 1. As he is currently 2-0 in this best of 7 series for his team. He has already done his team good, and we're going to see if he can take one more game or if he's going to make this some kind of all-kill. Only time will tell as we go ahead and jump into it. Now, we do have over here that one barracks going down, and of course, this is going to be yet another Protoss versus Terran. Unfortunately, that game number 2 was rather short-lived, as actually Beast busting out some of that Proxy 2-Rex cheese, making it a short game, saying, hey, you know what? I can play the one long macro game, or I can go ahead and just cheese it up. So now that's going to actually force Jiraiya to think, hey, you know what? I have to be very careful. Now, Jiraiya does actually make it out with that probe, just barely having 5 health, 1 hit away from that SCV from dying. But, you know, he did get a good scout off on those 2 gas guys. Should say, hey, you know what? I don't believe, actually, you know, he still has to be careful because those gas guys could have gone down a little bit later. I feel like he scouted that actually very early, but if he does get in before this supply depot goes down, he should be able to scout out and see whether or not these 2 gas guys are taken, and he should have a good idea of whether or not Beast is actually going for some kind of big pressure play. And that probe is just going to be annoying. And meanwhile, behind all this, we have this Cybernex core going down for Jiraiya. And Jiraiya is just going to be playing that good old normal Protoss style play. Wouldn't be surprised in the slightest to see a 1 gateway expand coming out of him. And meanwhile, he does actually end up scouting that command center. So Jiraiya is going to feel pretty safe going for that 1 gateway expand, or even potentially might want to go for some kind of big all-in. Although, you know, when your team is down 0-2, it's very risky to go for those kind of all-in plays, because it's like, well, if you don't win right there, you're going to be so far behind, you're likely going to lose the game. And then it's so stressful, especially when your team is counting on you to win a game, and then you kind of take this coin flip opportunity to try and win. It can be very frustrating. So I don't actually expect Jiraiya to go for something like that. We do actually see a Zealot and a Stalker popping out, and actually that Chronobus being used on that gateway, and even getting out that second Stalker to do a little bit of pressure. We're going to see how much damage you can do. Actually going to be able to catch this SCV. Should with power, oh, actually messes up the stutter step a little bit, and actually that SCV is going to go ahead, get in, see everything right now, and most importantly, he's going to be able to see, hey, there is no expansion down just yet. He should actually, well, actually, I guess the SCV does get picked off, so he doesn't quite know what Jiraiya is up to just yet. He should have seen that there was no second gas geyser though, so that should be at least a little bit indicative of saying, hey, there's no big immortal all-in push or something of the sort coming out. But I mean, Beast should be very careful about moving out like this. He does actually catch that Zealot over there, as that Zealot is going to be doing some nice swipes over off on those Marines, but that Marine does make it into the bunker, ends up losing one of them. That's going to be a little bit of a blow, as that's going to allow these 2 Stalkers and that 1 Zealot just barely surviving to actually do some really nice poking damage. And of course, behind all this, Jiraiya going for that expansion, going to be putting on a little bit of pressure off of these 3 gateways, I feel, as well as with these 3 units. Going to make sure that he can see what Beast is up to just by poking up the ramp with the Stalker. And we actually see, ooh, the SCV should have been in range for those 2 Stalkers and that 1 Zealot, but he does actually make it over there. And oh my god, is he actually going to go ahead and start a thirst? No, actually just going ahead and scouting for proxy pounds. We saw this in game number 1, and I absolutely love that style of play from Beast, just being super duper cautious and just using those kind of small tidbits of information that could potentially tip him off onto what his opponent is up to. We do actually see a Marine move out, taking a couple of shots off from those Stalkers. He has to be very careful about moving out, just because those Stalkers will be able to do some nice damage until Stim finishes up, or at least those Marauders get some concussive shells. And of course, we do see a couple of sentries being morphed in for Jiraiya, and actually another proxy pylon being planted down. So definitely going to be looking to see some aggression. And oh my god, look at this. Sneaky SCV walked all the way around the map, even avoided the Xel'Naga Watchtower just to get us scouting. He's going to see everything, but at the same time, it looks like Jiraiya is going to go for it. The SCVs are already pulled, though, and we do see 3 force fields going down, blocking a lot of those SCVs from repairing, but still, there's so many SCVs in the front, being able to block off those Zealots, and actually, he easily deflects this push from Jiraiya, so really well played by Beast. Now, of course, he did force all those SCVs off of mining, so, you know, that is one nice little win for Jiraiya, but look at this, 30 probes, 232 SCVs, and of course, you have to remember, once again, command centers have mules, so that does mean that Beast is going to be slightly ahead economically, and of course, he's actually already going to be finishing up that factory, and meanwhile, that's going to give him the opportunity to start taking up to that starport play, but, you know, what does Jiraiya have back at home? We actually see just gateways down right now. He just does not have any form of tech, and that's actually going to be a huge problem for him moving on to the later stages of the game. We can see that this gas geyser is very, very fresh, as, you know, it just has not had a whole lot mined out of it. You can see, I believe, well, once it's finished up, you can see that those gas geysers start off with around, I think, 25,000 gas. Yeah, 25,000 gas, and this is just barely starting to mine that gas. So you're going to be behind in gas, behind in tech, and a little bit behind in economy. So Beast is actually looking to be in a great position in this game. Gonna send out this Marine, gonna be able to take out this scouting probe that was probably just looking to see when that third was gonna be taken, and even getting this Marine to take out this pylon. And you know, I'd really like it if Jiraiya threw down, oh, he does actually have a robotics facility on the way, so wouldn't be too surprised to see some kind of Colossus play coming out as soon as possible. Meanwhile, going ahead and trying to take that third very soon. As you know, he does have some sentries. He can delay any pushes that Beast goes for until those medevacs really decide to come out and be able to put on a little bit more pressure with some of that drop play. But actually, ooh, a nice little warp in from that Zealot, able to take out that Marine that was slowly taking out that pylon. But here comes the remaining brethren of that Marine. This is kind of like the gangster mob, the brothers of the poor soul that died. They're going to come back and get some revenge on their sibling. But we actually see Jiraiya positioning with another proxy pylon. That's going to be a really nice play for him. Very important for a Protoss player to have those proxy pylons out on the map, and even getting a nice little scout off over here to see when that third is going to be taken. And it looks like Beast is actually not really positioning himself to look like he wants to take that third. I think he's actually going to be going for some kind of big pressure play very soon. Maybe once that combat shield and +1 weapons actually ends up finishing up. We do see that factory doing a little bit of scouting information. Actually, a warp prism coming out. Ooh, this is going to be a very interesting play coming out of Jiraiya. We're going to see how well it works out for him, as there are going to be, this is so many sentries. Oh my god, Jiraiya loading up on the sentries, and I'm actually a little bit worried for him, just because, you know, with those 2 medevacs, he will be able to do some nice drop play, and, you know, with that drop play, sentries don't actually do the best in straight-up engagements. They need those force fields to be able to actually deal with any kind of big army, and if Jiraiya is not careful, he can get caught very much out of position by any kind of drops that go on from Beast. But we do end up seeing, where is that Warp Prism? We do see the Warp Prism dropping those 3 Zealots over there, and the natural expansion of Beast does end up losing a couple of those SCVs, but look at this whole position micro, really well done from Beast. Actually cleans up all of these Zealots with very minimal losses. We do see about 5 workers killed total, but we do actually see Beast having to retreat, as all of those sentries and actually those Marines and Marauders are very much out of position now, and they are going to be losing quite a few of their, you know, fellow brethren. Actually, both of the medevacs go down. Some really nice force fields going down, but oh no, those sentries are getting right on top of those Marines, and here come the reinforcing Marines, and he needs to throw down some additional force fields to stop this army from just taking out all of these units. It looks like he is going to save them so that he can try and use them up on the ramp, but the stim goes down, and oh my god, he's just retreating back into the main. I don't know how much I agree with this, and actually losing so many of these probes, all of the probes just walking to their death, and to what end? I don't really think that was worth it, as even though all these Marines and these Marauders are actually going to be completely dead, we see a drop in the main from actually 2 drop ships coming at different angles, able to take out all those probes in the main, and there we see the GG coming down from Jiraiya. So wow, Beast going with the 3-0, and actually, you know, that was a really well played game by Beast, actually even handling that War Prism aggression very, very well. But, you know, I will say at this point that there actually is no game number 4. Actually, at this point, Quetzel decided to just forfeit the rest of the best of 7 series. So that last game, not actually going to get played out. A little bit sad about that. But that does mean it was an all kill by Team Dust, which is going to be Dust Beast. So congratulations to not only Team Dust, but to Beast. I mean, beasting it with a 4-0 all-kill victory, that's definitely going to be something he's going to have on his resume for quite a while. And yeah, pretty awesome games. So thank you so much to everyone that decided to tune in, and hopefully you guys decide to tune in for the live shows that happen for the Underrated Team League. Those happen Monday through Friday around 9 o'clock and sometimes around 7, I think, depending on the week. But please go ahead and tune in for those. And of course, please also go ahead and visit our sponsor. That's going to be SC2 Gears, an awesome replay analysis program. Origin PC, obviously, producer of really awesome gaming PCs. And last but not least, Next Level Gaming, producers of really awesome StarCraft learning content. You can learn so much from just watching the videos and just get better at StarCraft. So please go ahead and check all of them out. But without further ado, that's actually going to put, once again, Dust in the lead, and this is from Group D, so they're going to be feeling pretty good about it, and we're going to have to wait and see in the future coming weeks how Quetzel is going to be able to deal with their future opponents, and if they're going to make some kind of comeback in their group. It's only week 1, so only time will tell. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I will see you guys later.